When I was about 18 years old, I joined the church and began attending our local institute class. Our teacher was Brother Chapman. He was an amazing teacher. He just knew exactly what I needed. He had a passion for the scriptures, he loved the class, and he had a perfect mixture of storytelling and humor. And all of this culminating together to create a really great atmosphere, very engaging atmosphere to help me in those moments when I was still a new member, still growing my testimony. He was able to help me really to reaffirm the truths that I have committed to and to grow my testimony and help me to better understand the scriptures and the gospel principles. He really has done so much for me. I love Brother Chapman for that, and I oftentimes look back on the principles and the lessons that he's taught me. One in particular sticks out above all other ones. In one class, he was talking about how we need to overcome the world. He was explaining how, as a result of us growing up in the world, there are certain falsehoods that we accept to be truth. Again, as a result of us just growing up in the world, the atmosphere that we're surrounded by. He said, for us to truly overcome the world, we will need to seek out and to obliterate these falsehoods that we've accepted as truths to make these changes in our lives. And so, what I'm going to be describing today is the path, the journey that I've been on to apply this principle to help me in so many different areas of my life, but specifically one, and that's in regards to my marriage. The first discovery of a falsehood that I thought was truth came as I was serving as a full-time missionary. I was in Arizona, and I was out on my mission for about 6 months, and I was talking to one of my ward mission leaders, Brother Housekeeper. He was explaining his disbelief in how so many couples in the area fight and they argue and they bicker and they have these angry discussions with each other, and he just couldn't believe it because him and his wife Holly, they never argue, they never have engage in any sort of communication like that. And so it was so hard for him to believe that other people did that, that divorce was so prevalent. He explained again that his wife and him, they never argue. And as he was explaining this to me, I'm thinking, well, I can really perfectly understand why people argue, why people fight, why there's divorce, because I grew up, my parents were divorced when I was about 1 year old. My dad's on his third marriage. My mom's on her second. Both of my sisters have been divorced. The culture of society, as it is right now, is um, is divorce, is fighting, is bickering. It's so prevalent throughout all of our society now. And so as he was explaining that to me, I'm thinking, well, I can really see that. But fortunately for me, the Spirit brought back to me my mind the teachings of Brother Chapman, of what he taught us about overcoming the world. And then I was able to realize after being humbled a little bit that this was a falsehood that I accepted as a truth. I never even thought of to question. I just accepted it because it just was always around me growing up. And so now I realize that you don't need to argue, you don't need to fight or bicker or to talk with disrespect to your spouse. Divorce is completely avoidable as long as both the husband and the wife have they make a mutual decision to change and to be better. So now I want to describe to you really how I applied learning this, how I applied that into my life, and how it really has affected me.